tell her.
You, that's your grandmother.
Oh, all right. Grandmummy.
Yes, darling. What is it?
Megan has something.
I don't have.
Megan and myself have something to tell you.
Well, get on with it.
We want to leave the monarchy.
What? But why would you want to leave all of this, darling?
Well, Grandmummy, you wouldn't understand.
Philip, come on! No!
Grandmummy!
Philip! Go ahead and take care of her. Go ahead. Help her connect the dots. About the white meat and thing, man them start to fret like he never eat a dark meat yet. But if ever you lack the understanding of once you go black, in the pages of history will document Harry's testimony. You know why? The prince gave up his money, the prince gave up his throne, the prince gave up his power. Why? Just for dark meat alone. The family goes sour. The queen, she might sin she soul, but the mother go proud when he's singing out loud. What? Dark meat to the world. Harry, tell them once you go black. Tell them you'll never go back. Tell them once you go black, you'll never go back. The haters on social media say that Harry will soon regret, but they will never understand why he leaving, because they never eat a black meat yet. Hey! Harry, tell them. Oh, Harry. Oh, let's say it. Go, Harry. Go, Harry. Go, Harry. But she easy. Harry messed with the pride when he introduced his bride. The queen, she wasn't happy. She was like, what nonsense is this, Harry? It was a big joke. Harry near make the woman catch a stroke when he proclaimed, yes I do, to a woman of a darker hue. So with that, the prince gave up his money, and then he kicked away his throne. He tell him he ain't want no power. Why? Just for dark meat alone. The family always sour. The queen, she might sing she soul, but the mother go proud when he singing out loud. Melanin to the world. Harry, tell him once you go black, never, you'll never go back. Never. Once you go black, never, you'll never go back. The queen say, Harry, my grandson, you was always happy with the rules that we set, but she can't feel what Harry is feeling because she never eat a black meat yet. Hey! Harry, tell him, everybody sing, go Harry. What? Go Harry. Louder. Go Harry. You know what is the truth? Listen, it's Harry who made the call. He said, not my wife at all. It still makes him shudder, the way the people that treat his mother. So Harry decided to live his life colorblind. Well, he raised some eyebrows for sure, when they saw his Rasta mother-in-law. So king gave up his money, the prince gave up his throne. The prince said want no power. Why? Just for dark meat alone. The family done sour, and the queen she might sing his soul, but the mother go proud when he singing out loud. Yes, dark meat to the world. Harry what? You'll never go back. Never, never. Once you go black, you'll never go back. Harry brother say that he's appalled, disappointed, confused and upset, but he cannot relate, so he married again. So he never eat a black meat yet. Never. Say, go Harry. Louder. Go Harry. Share my husband on. Go Harry. So with that, the prince gave up his money, and then he kick away his throne. He tell them he ain't want no power. Why? Just for dark meat alone. The family always sour. The queen she might sing she soul, but the mother go proud when he singing out loud. Melanin to the world. Harry tell him, once you go black, never, you'll never go back. Never, never. Once you go black, you'll never go back. The queen say, Harry, my grandson, you was always happy with the rules that we set, but she can't feel what Harry is feeling because she never eat a black meat yet. Hey! Harry tell him, everybody sing, go Harry. What? Go Harry. Louder. Go Harry. Harry who made call. He said not my wife at all. It still makes him shudder the way the people treat his mother. So Harry decide to live his life colorblind. Well, he raised some eyebrows for sure when they saw his Rasta mother-in-law. So king gave up his money, the prince gave up his throne. The prince said want no power. Why? Just for dark meat alone. The family done sour, and the queen she might sing she soul, but the mother go proud when he singing out loud. Yes, dark meat to the world. Harry said, what? You'll never go back. Never. Once you go black, you'll never go back. Harry brother say that he's appalled, disappointed, confused and upset, but he cannot relate, so he married again. So he never eat a black meat yet. Never. Say, go Harry. Louder. Go Harry. Share my husband on. Go Harry. Go Harry. Inside the short time in the palace, he enduring all the malice. Some men want to say it, but half of them who complaining was racist. They thought that Harry wouldn't have gone as fast to marry, but the power of this black beauty make him go down on not one but on his two knees. So the prince gave up his money, and then he kick away his throne. He tell them he ain't want no power. Why? Just for dark meat alone. The family still in shock, and the queen in pure misery. But the mother go proud, cause Harry is now contributing to black history. Harry said, once you go black, never, you'll never go back. Never. Once you go black, you'll never go back. Harry say, my love, clothes. Let we ship out with no regret. Cause these people can't grasp why it's so finger licking me. Cause they never eat a black meat. Yeah. Hurry, go Harry. What we tell? Go Harry. Go Harry. Love on you. They want no power. Why? Just for dark meat alone. He family still in shock, and the queen in pure misery. But he mother go proud, cause Harry is now contributing to black history. Harry says, once you go black, never, you'll never go back. Never. Once you go black, you'll never go back. Harry say, my love, pack your clothes. Let we ship out with no regret. Cause these people can't grasp why it's so finger licking me. Cause they never eat a black meat. Yeah. Hurry, go Harry. Go Harry. Go Harry. Love on you.
David Hines, why you're so worthless? Tomorrow, Jadio gonna say, and David Hines last night was racist. He play a calypso name. Once you go black, you never go back. It's the racism. Go Harry. When I taught this to my students, they give the calypso their own name. Go Harry, you know, little white boys and girls and black Americans and Hispanic and Native Indians. Go Harry! Yeah, they love it bad. Oh, why you all so racist? Never eat a black meat yet. And once you go black, you never go back. You all are very racist. We don't want those things to be sung in Guyana. We are one Guyana. Lotila. That is acceptable in one Guyana. You eat a black meat yet. But you see, we just do the whole work, you know. The whole work. When you go to a black spiritual walk, black spiritual walk, you get about the Our Nation walk. You bring up the Amerindian spirit, white spirit, Chinese spirit, Portuguese spirit, Indian spirit, African spirit, you know. Very democratic religion we come from. Our nation walk. And then, of course, you get the nation walk, which is the African walk. So you can get the African walk, and then you can get the Our Nation walk. But it is very instructive that we just do the Lotila in my own Calypso Soca language, and we just do go Harry. Once you go black, you don't go back. We just do everything. That is the real. That when I was in primary school, St. Anthony's RC School or Roman Catholic. We had a headmaster, Mr. Seaford, Fred Seaford. When you see the school bell ring, he did the gate. And he ready with he belt or he welcame. And he ain't stopping you one by one for give you lash. He had pelt lash and you duck and you bob and weave for see if you go miss. But I never saw anybody so skillful that they didn't get lash. They didn't get lash. He was very skillful. Mr. Fred Seaford, all you boys there, all you boys there, all you boys. He was our headmaster when I was in primary school. And then he came back later. After he retired, he came back later and taught at the multilateral school. Those men and women were real educators, true teachers. We really don't give the teachers the respect that they deserve. Of course, times have changed, but nothing has changed as far as the profession is concerned. Preparing the minds for tomorrow, preparing the minds for today, and prepared the minds for yesterday. Terry Ann Lyons, the daughter of Super Blue. In the old days, we call him Blue Boy. Those of us who remember Ethel and Rebecca and Soca Baptist, well, it is his daughter that sang Megan, My Dear, but as my students said, no Megan, My Dear, Dr. Hines. The name of the song is Go Harry! Go Harry! Oh boy. What a world that we have contributed to. We have made a contribution as Guyanese, as West Indians, as African people, and we continue to do that. Please share the link and let everyone know.
The palace, we enduring all the malice. Some men want to say it, but half of them who complaining was racist. They thought that Harry wouldn't have gone as fast to marry, but the power of this black beauty make him go down on not one but on his two knees. So the prince gave up him money, and then he kicked away his throne. He telling me he want no power. Why? Just for dark meat alone. The family still in shock, and the queen in pure misery. But the mother go proud, cause Harry is now contributing to black history. Harry said, once you go black, never, you'll never go back. Never. Once you go black, you'll never go back. Harry say, my love, pack your clothes, let we ship out with no regret. Cause these people can't grasp why it's so finger licking me, cause they never eat a black meat yet. Hey! Harry say, go Harry, what we say? Go Harry, go Harry, love you. Hey!
Here's what I love about all of this. Of course, the Calypso is about the story of a member of the revered monarchy marrying a black woman. And that's the story. But Terry Ann Lyons, of course, as we do in Calypso, we use the story to say something. We use it to tell something, and to tell a story of racism in the world, And that is the big story. That is the big story. There, she's using the story of this marriage to talk about racism. And in that sense, she's talking back. She's saying, you try to belittle Black people. You enslave us. You colonize us. You said we were not human beings. But here we are. Here we are. Celebration of Black womanhood. Celebration of Black womanhood. That's what the Calypso is also about. So it's pointing out to now turning racism back, but Black womanhood. And she exercises the freedom to use her body to tell that story. They will never understand it that now Harry is contributing to Black history, and she uses her body. White people and maybe other non-Black people say, oh, well, she's gyrating, she's winding up. She's winding up. She's talking about the power of Blackness and Black womanhood. And she's talking back to whiteness and anti-Blackness, and saying, we are beautiful too. We are beautiful too. We are beautiful physically. We are beautiful intellectually. And as we do in Calypso, we use an incident to talk about the larger story. Harry is contributing to Black history. If there were not Blackness, there wouldn't be whiteness. And if there were not whiteness, there wouldn't be Blackness. People ask all the time, why can't we get rid of race? What I mean is, why can Black people shut up? But every time we sing a Calypso like that, we are reminding the world of the great atrocity that they have committed, and to remind them not to do it again. Good evening, my brother Keith Beresford, who is more of a connoisseur and is more of a student of the music than I will ever dream of being. But I enjoy this, as you all can imagine. I enjoy poking my finger back in their eyes. Our Indian brothers and sisters are not our historical enemies, meaning Africans and Indians are not historical enemies. They never enslaved each other. Blacks and whites are historical enemies in the sense that whites enslaved Black people, and Black people have something to tell them. Always have something to remind them. Always have something to educate them. Whether that education comes through marriage or it comes through engagement in a schoolroom, we have something to tell the world. And every time you look at us, whether on a stage, on a cricket field, on a basketball court, we are telling that story, and we're reminding the world never to allow it to happen again. Every time we come like this and we talk like this, we are reminding our Indo-Guyanese leaders, we are reminding our Indo-Guyanese leaders, do not parrot anti-Black racism. And the fact that they want me to be gone, want us to be gone, says that they are comfortable creating a modern version of anti-black racism in this country, Guyana. They should be glad that I come here every night and others, and we use the time to educate our young blacks about their glorious history. They should be glad. Why would you not want your sisters and your brothers to know their glorious history? They should be glad. They should be giving us medals. But instead, they're calling us racist. Why do you not want Africans to know their history here, there, before, now, and tomorrow? Why? What's your plan? What's your plan? Bob Marley said, I don't want my people to be tricked by mercenaries. I don't want my people to be contrary. I don't want my people to be tricked by mercenaries. Because there are mercenaries going around with pennies from the government purse and trying to trick my people. Trying to turn my people into mercenaries. They can go and kill their own. That's what they're trying to do in Guyana. And we will not let them do it. That's why they don't want us to talk like this. Because when we educate ourselves about our glorious history and about this identity, we are also educating the rest of Guyana. I don't want my people to be tricked by mercenaries. You may not like my style. Maybe I'm too much in your face. And I have to be in your face. But you ought to be glad. I have nothing against our Indo-Guyanese brothers going into their mosques and their mandirs and their holy places and learning their history, identifying with their Indianness. I think it enriches Guyana. Leave me to do the same. Leave the Amerindian chiefs to do the same. Leave us to do the same. Why the hell are you telling us about a one Guyana which is talking about a one dominant Guyana dominated by the elites of one ethnic group? Good evening to you and welcome to Politics 101. They're going to continue to hear from me because I'm not going anywhere. From the east to the west, to the north to the south, so long as there is life. I'd rather do this than to sit up in the National Assembly and chat nonsense and call people names. I can call names. As people say, meet me at Buxton Line Top and we're going to talk. We're going to call names there. Because my neighbor Stringberry there. Good evening. Be unstopping. We have work to do. Our people are stumbling. Our people are stumbling. And we have to lift ourselves up. The Calypsonians say, lift yourself up, dust yourself off, and start all over again. In this case, we don't have to start all over again. We just have to turn our minds away from the mess and turn them in the right direction. The demons The anti-black demons, anti-African demons are abroad everywhere. That's what they're trying to do. We're not going to let them do it. Good evening to you and welcome to Politics 101. It's a Wednesday night in the middle of the week. And we are bearing witness. We are doing it in the morning, Kedaki Guyanese morning time. We are doing it in the midday. Mr. Paul Sloan, Mr. Conway, come on. And Cheryl, that's his morning thing. And we're doing it in the evening and night. A little bit more is always better. A little more oil in my lamp. Keep it burning. Keep it burning till the break of day. Burn, keep it burning. Got serious work to do and we're going to do it. And we're not fearing anybody. Fear is a sin. Fear is sinful. Fear is cowardice. It was the Mahatma himself, Mahatma Gandhi, who said, if I had a choice between violence and cowardice, I will choose violence, not cowardice. And he's the prince of nonviolence. But he wasn't saying that I want to commit violence. What he was saying is that if I have a choice between the violence of cowardice and the violence of the other kind of violence, I will choose the violence of the other kind of violence. I will not choose the violence of cowardice. Cowardice is violent, more violent than what we call violence, going on the streets and demonstrating and sometimes people get out hand and break a few glasses of buildings and stores. And Gandhi is saying, if I have to choose that kind of violence or cowardice, I'm going to choose going on the streets at the risk of breaking up a few roads. I rather that than cowardice. They may have succeeded in beating us off the road for a minute. And choosing the violence of cowardice. And cowardice can be inflicted by others, and it can also be self-inflicted. And I rather suspect our people are victims of a combination of the two. A people who live in a state of cowardice are an unfree people. Freedom is God-given. Or given by our ancestors. And our governments are charged with ensuring that that freedom is equitably distributed, the public good. Of course, there's no such thing as ultimate freedom. If we were to have ultimate freedom, then the world would be in chaos. So freedom itself is relative, but it's sacred. We can put freedom down on a piece of paper, our constitutions. We can put it there. But that constitution means nothing if, along with the constitution, those who are entrusted with power are prepared to honor the constitution. So we need the constitution because we need to make it explicit the rules and the laws that bind us together as a nation. But we need men and women who take a gaze and a conscience to that piece of paper. We are moving on and we are talking back. I refuse to be silenced. You can't silence me. As the Black Stallion said, how many times must a man die? I died on the shores of Africa. I died on the plantation. I died in 37 with Butler and Cipriani and Critchlow. I died in 1966 at Independence Time. I died. How many times can a man die? And every time I die, I survive. Every time I die, I survive. We are not African people, poor people. We are not surrendering. We ought not to surrender. We're not surrendering. David, why can't you talk about class? Some of my Marxist friends tell me, and I sympathize with them because they're talking about a colorblind Marxism. My Marxism is a black Marxism, is a Caribbean Marxism. And Marxism is simply a critique, a body of work that critique the so-called market capitalism. I too want us to get more from our oil wealth. It's imperative. But I also want what we get to be shared equitably. It's not one or the other, it's both. Exxon is taking too much, but the Guyanese government is stealing too much for itself and its friends. Let's talk about that. I have less power to stop Exxon from stealing, but by God, we have more power to stop these jagabats, to borrow from Brother Sherrod, to stop these local jagabats from stealing the little that we are getting. We have more power to stop that than to stop Exxon. I ain't saying that we have any rights in Exxon, but if we can stop these scoundrels from stealing, pocketing the little that we get, we are going to be in a better position to fight Exxon. Let's talk. Let's talk. Because Jamaicans say, me mouth for me. Me mouth for me. We Guyanese say, if you get mouth, open them and talk. Not step up your Me mouth of me, that's what Jamaicans say. We in Guyana say, me mouth na left me mama. And you know what? Same all too, same meaning. Me mouth na left me mama thing. Some people say, too much of talk, David. We need action. Talk is action. Cut this nonsense. Cut this nonsense about too much of talk. God give you a voice to articulate your aspirations, and you're making people muzzle you. Martin Carter said the mouth is muzzled by the food it eats. They give you a little job, you get a job with the government, they pay you a little bit of 100,000, 120,000 and tell you you cannot say I am. What are we talking about? I'm aiming this at people, but it's also aimed at all peoples in Guyana who are oppressed. Amerindians, poor Indians. But I cannot for them because they have not asked me to speak for them. That people have asked me to speak for them is all you send me to school. Or all you give me the opportunity to read some books, to study our history. And you all don't have to say, David, you know, no, the very act of empowering those of us, like myself, is giving us the right to speak for us. I love this, you know. I think I'll share it. I don't, as you know, sometimes it becomes overwhelming, and I don't always get to all the mails, but I'm getting some help these days. So this one tickled me today. Good day, sir. I hope you are well. Just messaging to inform you that you are causing just let you inform me that you are causing change in my marriage. I migrated to Guyana to be with my Guyanese husband, but every night when he should be in bed with me, he's glued to the television watching you and your program. He sits on the living room couch until your last sentence. He neglects his children too. It's like he's in some sort of a trance, and the person went on. You know, and it is true. You know, women do come up to me and say that times at Semukaka can't get my husband to pay attention to anything else. And then husbands who say, I can't get my wife to pay attention to cooking the dinner. The lady said, well, she cooks the dinner and the man ain't paying attention to she dinner, and the man said, the lady can't cook the dinner. I know they got worked out. But it's a fidelity. It's a fidelity to the task at hand. The task at hand. And we are doing it, always doing it. Always doing it. And we are going to continue to work for our liberation. There are lots going on. Everybody's on the Mohammed thing and so on. And I like what Henry Jeffrey said last night, that there's collusion between the Mohammeds and the government. And he explained that that collusion is not always a kind of overt collusion, but the very logic of our politics has taken us to collusion. And he made the observation that it is the Mohammeds that cause the PPP to get the chairmanship or vice chairmanship of Region 4 for the first time. It's the logic of the vote for the Mohammed that took us there. A lot of those people who voted for the Mohammeds, I believe them when they said they voted for change. But the change in the leadership of Region 4 from PNC/APNU to PPP, I'm sure that they vote for that. Let me go over it again, right? People said they vote for change, and I believe them. I believe that people had a problem election time. People had a problem with the APNU. Some of our people clearly had a problem. They weren't enamored of the APNU. And I don't want to say PNC because all of us have to take responsibility. It may be the PNC because they're the largest party, but all of us, clearly, our people had a problem with us. And they have a laundry list of problems that they had with us and maybe still have with us. And they felt that migrating their vote elsewhere, not to the PPP, but elsewhere, is the perfect rebuke for us. They don't want the PPP. And some of them maybe don't want us. And they diverted. And they weren't doing that to put the PPP in the saddle. If they wanted to put the PPP in the saddle, they would go and vote for the PPP. So in voting for Mohammed, African people and Amerindian people, I am sure, were not going and say, I'm voting for you, Mohammed, because I want the PPP to get 3 extra seats. I want the PPP to control Region 4. I want the PPP to have the last decision on who controls Region 10. No. But there are what is called unintended consequences. And the unintended consequence is that the thing that you voted against, you end up causing to happen. You end up giving PPP more power. 9,000 votes, but 3 seats. 3 seats in this last election is equivalent to about 20,000 votes, 21,000 votes, because I think the breakdown was about 6,800 per vote. So the PPP more votes than the last. And that happened because people stayed home and they voted elsewhere. So unintended consequences. The thing that you voted against or you thought you were voting against, you end up empowering that thing in your stronghold, where you are numerically more than others. You end up giving control of it at the regional level, total control of it, to the party you didn't want. And in another stronghold in Region 10, you end up giving that party the power to decide who will control that region. Unintended consequences. And I'm not pointing fingers at the voters. I think our Indian Guyanese brothers and sisters worked it out in a larger, holistic way. A lot of Indians are not satisfied with the PPP. They're not. They're not satisfied with what the PPP is doing in their name. They're not. But they've reasoned that to protect their political interests, in order to protect their political interests in a country of hyper political contestation, to protect their ethnic interests in a country of hyper ethnic contestation, the PPP is a better choice. Half of African Guyanese voters didn't reason like that. Half of them didn't reason like that. Had they reasoned like that, we may have ended up with a different configuration. What we have done is that we have created, by the vote, we have created two African centers of quote-unquote power. When we have no power to decide who's opposition leader. We fighting Win and APNU fighting Mati, and not the parties, but their surrogates and their supporters on social media, fighting Mati down every day. But neither of them got the power to decide when the opposition leader will be chosen. It's about power, stupid. And whatever you do with the vote in a place where power is contested along class lines, racial lines, political lines, you gotta be smart. I knew when they went after me because I perhaps was the only public voice in a partisan way. There were others like myself, my colleagues in the WPA and so on. And we were saying to African people, don't split your vote. Don't split your vote. We were urging the APNU, concentrate on your base. Because we worked it out. I was clear in my mind that Indo-Guyanese sisters and brothers were going nowhere, nowhere, nowhere. And not because I'm a political genius, but I'm an observer of political sociology. They were going nowhere. I knew that. And so in that circumstance, I had to say to Black people, you all don't go anywhere either. But there were other Black leaders, publicly and privately, saying to Black people, go somewhere else. Wrong politics. Wrong politics. It must be recorded when I said, look after your base. They cost me from Ravi Deva, all of them. Oh, the PNC stupid. They're not going in the Indian community. They're not going in this community. They're not going and begging Indians for their votes. Nonsense. You all know Sparrow bestseller. Why do I keep fooling myself? And I know that you love someone else. Why do I keep fooling myself? The Sparrow bestseller, it had to be because he said something profound. Why do I keep fooling myself when I know that you love someone else? Only a fool breaks his own heart. Tomorrow they're going to say David Hines called black people fool. He's insulting his own people. Write him and carry him to the ERC because he quotes Sparrow said, only a fool breaks his own heart. That's the stupidness that comes from sections of our elites. Oh, how much I would love for Indians and Africans to sit at the table, their leaders to sit at the table and run our country, govern our country. That is my dream. My dream is to see Africans and Indians and Amerindians, Chinese and Portuguese and mixed people, that we all sit at the table in the spirit and the lesson of Arthur Lewis, that all those who were affected by a decision must sit at the table and make the decision. That's the democracy that I believe in. A substantive democracy. I love that. But when you coerce me to come and vote for you so that you can represent me, no, you're talking nonsense. Because if I want you to represent me, I will vote directly for you. You won't have to come to me and coerce me to do it. So it was a reading of the politics that caused us, the Working People's Alliance, to publicly say to African people, consolidate your vote one place, because your sisters and brothers on the other side are doing exactly that. And only a fool breaks his own heart. And it was quite a shame to see some of our leaders, I love them, towards the end of the campaign, actually saying to black people, split your vote. And I am now learning that many of them were doing it behind the scenes. And here we are today, and they have gone on with their lives, and our people on a daily basis have to deal with the consequence of that action. Wait, Dorothy, wait. Black Stallion said, wait, Dorothy, people want me to sing smut and sing about Dorothy, dress up in short thing and winding up. But when I look around the world and see Mr. Divider not dividing the bread equally, I say, wait, Dorothy, wait. And when Mr. Divider could divide the bread equally, all are we going to hold on to Dorothy and jam up and rub up? Profundity from the poet Calypsonian. Profundity. Yes, you have to rebuke your leaders when they get out of hand. Who else? Who better? Because I spend time rebuking them. Sometimes I may have over-rebuked them. And if that charge is made of me, as it is sometimes by some black people, that when the coalition was in office, that I was too harsh on them. But when 2020 came, I didn't bolt and go anywhere. I stayed with them, despite my criticism of them. And although I didn't like the fact that the official opposition did not utilize street politics between 2015 and 2020, did not utilize it more, I didn't bolt and go anywhere. I stayed with them. I vex, but I'm staying. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't telling people to split their votes. We have to think these things through. And we have to educate our people. No, there are any number of reasons that the people who migrated from the APNU and took their vote elsewhere, there are any number of reasons that they cite. The one that they cite that the rest of them don't want to talk about is the one that says the Granger government didn't do anything for black people. They said the Granger government didn't do much for its supporters. That's how the leaders put it. The supporters are mostly black men and women and children. Now, black people tell me that every day. They don't mince it and say they didn't do nothing for their supporters. They know they're talking to me and they said that time they did not do for black people. They refuse, we refuse to talk about their blackness and what blackness means in Guyana. And so some of our young people, they know that they're oppressed as black people. Don't get it twisted now. They would like to tell you that black people don't get no racial bone in them, and young black people now are dancing to Indian song and going out with little Indian boys and girls. They're hanging out to the same place and so on. Of course they're hanging out to the same place. I don't get to the club now a big. But when the black people and the Indian young people, they go out to the club, is who spending the big money on the big Hennessy and the big this, and you look at them little Indian boys and girls. Black people, the black friends ain't got no money to buy them big liquor and go to them big place. They're there as unequals. So don't get it twisted. They understand what it is to be black. What we didn't do enough of is to tie that understanding of the nature and the condition of black people to the vote. That's where we fell down. I'm going to tell black people know. They know they're getting $3 million contract and the other man with the IMAC and so on getting 300 million. They know that. They live it every day. They know when they go out and sport with their little friends. They ain't got no big money for spending. It's their friend to spend. The Indian friends and Portuguese friends and Redskin people friend and so on to spend the big money to buy the big liquor. They know that. You don't got to tell them that. They know what it is to be black in Guyana. What we didn't do was to link that knowledge of their blackness to the vote. And that is our task. I hear people talk about you got to rebuild the party, you got this, you got that. So God bless them. I think you still have to do some of that. But the major thing we have to do is what they say I am doing, which is to preach black victimhood. And I'm going to continue to preach it. So long as black people are victims, I'm going to continue to preach black victimhood. Where we fell short as a collective is that we did not link that victimhood to the vote. To the vote. And that's the task we have before us, brothers and sisters. We talk about the vote as something separate from the apartheid in this country, the economic apartheid, the racial apartheid. We talk about them separately. What we have to do is to link them. Are we going to use the vote our oppression, or are we going to use the vote to rid ourselves of our oppression? That's what we're talking about. If the vote is what we're going to use, if we're not going to go on the road and we're not going to protest, and we say we link big time of vote, well, let me link the vote to race. Because we are oppressed as a race. The black elite has to stop being cowards. Because if you are a coward and you're the leader, your followers are going to behave in ways that give the impression that they're cowards. It's not rocket science. It is not rocket science. You watch. Other people are telling their people to vote race and telling you don't vote race. Because they feel, as Jennifer Ali said, that we brain small. And then we act in ways that allow them after to say, we brain small. We brain as small, we brain as big as anybody else brain. We're just making ourselves a fool. That's what we're doing as a people. Some of us, not all of us. Most of us are innocent. We acted innocent on September 4th. But some of us are just playing the fool. What on earth do you expect when you split your vote? All you're doing is, instead of bringing second, you split the vote, you bring second and third. Here. I get silver, I get bronze. Who get the gold? I'm about to say some of you are going to vex with me, but you all should not be vexed with me because I'm talking the truth. I'm speaking the truth. We are beginning to see what real life is. In a couple of weeks, we're going to be throwing ourselves over one another for $100,000. And the APNU said they would have given you by law from 500,000. We in the WPA were at the other extreme. We were saying $1 million. As we got in power, we would have worked it out somewhere between the 500,000 that the APNU, the PNC was saying, and the 1 million that the WPA was saying, and you all would have had a Merry Christmas and then some, because you would have get some left over for go and put on the piece of land that you get called for and you won't get the money for pay for. Or you pay for the land and you get it there, you can go now and start building. But no, change. So we're going to be crawling all over each other for the $100,000. Indian people are going to be crawling over one another. They're going to get the $100,000. But they know that on top of the $100,000, they're going to get the big hampers with another $200,000 inside for Christmas. It's trickle down. But it's a bigger trickle down is 100,000 plus the hamper with a 200,000 inside. And then another 100,000 from the businessman. So our Indian brethren may be taking home a 300, 400,000. We Africans will be beating each other, crawling for 100,000. That's what we've reduced ourselves to by the vote. don't care what you tell me. I am saying that the outcome of your electoral choice, because when you vote as an individual, unless the election comes down to one vote that make a difference between the winner and the loser, your individual vote is effective when it is joined with other votes. It is the individual vote that become part of a collective vote that determines change. So don't tell me about your right and your this right and so on. Rights are collective. Your right. Oh, my right is my right. And people right, and David Hines want to deny people their right. Yes, I want to deny people the right from being fools. As Jack Deere would say, stupid. You have a right to be many things, but not to be fools. Your foreparents didn't come out of slavery and beat slavery so that we can be foolish today. And I want you all to watch yourself. People have been pointing out to me that the people who are standing up for Muhammad because they feel that Muhammad is being bullied and they're in front of the court and so on is mostly black people. I hope when a black man is being bullied, you all come out and support them the same goddamn way. I hope so. I have no problem with you all defending Muhammad and coming out and protesting for him. Because if you all feel that he's being taken advantage of, that's your collective. And watch yourself, black sister. I ain't vexed with you for going and protest for that which is wrong and that which you feel is wrong. I hail you for that. I salute you for standing up, going on the road, risking your lives to protect and protest. Advantage taken on an Indian brother. I salute you for that. But you have not done the same thing when your black leaders were all in chains. And these weren't black leaders who were accused of smuggling gold and smuggling. They were accused of standing up for you. I hope you change your ways, black brother, black sister. Why must the beast always overcome the beauty? You all know the story of Beauty and the Beast. Why must the beast always overcome the beauty? You are beautiful. But sometimes you make some wrong turns, my brother. You make some wrong turns, my sister. And I'm here to help you straighten the wheel. It is not just about the road taken. It's also, as Robert Frost says, the road not taken. September 1st was not only about the road Africans took, or the road Indians took, or the road Amerindians took, but it's also the road not taken. Our Indian comrades made a decision based on the collective Indian interest. And they didn't have to watch what a brother put in on the ballot paper to make that decision. They made that decision because of a consciousness of who they are and their condition. Their leaders were not afraid to link their ethnicity to the vote. to the vote. It's harvest time. It's harvest time. The churches are having harvest. It's harvest time. It's a time for reaping. But if you don't sow, you cannot reap. Or if you sow seeds of your own underdevelopment, at harvest time, you're going to reap underdevelopment. Power concedes nothing without a demand. Power concedes nothing without a demand. If you sit and wait and don't do nothing, don't do anything, to deal with your condition, all you will end up doing is reproduce the condition. I'll be there for now.